Dividing equations and inequalities. You should have this paper in front of you. You glued it into your notebook in class. If not, go ahead and write these problems down. I want you to solve each of the problems first before you watch the video, and then we'll go over them together. All right, let's look at the first situation. Tegan wants to make at least a 95 average this 6 weeks. All right, that's important. At least a 95 this 6 weeks. Currently, his grades are 85, 89, 98, and 97. What is the minimum score he must earn on his next grade in order to have at least a 95 average? So, what it is that we are looking for is his next score. So we're going to assign X to represent the score that he needs to get. So let's think about how it is that we find averages. We add up all of our grades. So far he has 4 grades, but he also has the next grade that we're looking for. So right now he's got 85, 89, 98, 97, plus another grade, and we divide those by the number of grades. Now I'm dividing by 5. Now, in algebra, we usually denote division by putting it in fraction form. We could add everything up and put it in parentheses and divide by 5, but we don't typically write an equation or inequality like that. Now, we want all of these to add up to be to give us an average of either greater than or equal to a 95. Okay, now what would the next step be? We're going to add all of these values up. So when we add our values up, we get 369 plus X, all divided by 5. I'm going to write over this next problem. Has to be greater than or equal to an average of 95, because we know he wants to make, he can get more than a 95, but he for sure wants to make at least a 95. Okay, what would be our next step? We're going to multiply both sides by 5 because we want our fraction to divide out. So we are going to be left with 369 plus the next score is greater than or equal to 475. Okay, next step would be to subtract 369 from both sides. And, oops. And then we are left with our value X. His score has to be greater than or equal to 106. So, in order to have at least a 95 average, Tegan needs to make at least 106 on his next assignment. Alright, next situation. Jack took Aaron on a fancy horse carriage ride in downtown Austin. The driver, Sebastian, charges a flat fee of $15. That means $15 no matter what. That's a flat fee of $15 plus $1.75 per mile. If the total for the ride, so the total was $22, how many miles did they travel? So we are looking for the number of miles. So I'm going to assign our variable X to miles. All right, so what we know is he charges a flat fee of $15 plus $1.75 per mile. So $1.75 times the number of miles. So times X. And we know that the total equaled $22. Flat fee plus $1.75 times the number of miles gave us a total of $22. Now let's solve it. So we're going to subtract 15 from both sides. So we're left with, do a different color. We are left with $1.75 times the number of miles equals $7. So now we have to divide both sides by $1.75. So we're left with X has a value of 4. So the number of hours that they rode was 4 hours. This should help you review for your 6 weeks test on Wednesday.